Welcome to everyone joining us today. Good afternoon and happy February. I want to just again welcome everyone to Las Vegas Market's 2021 virtual programming. Today's presentation, Design West, is in partnership with Modern Luxury Vegas magazine. Design West is our new annual program focused on design and West Coast lifestyle. I'm Kimberly Porter, the Senior Programming Manager for International Market Centers. And today our guest moderator is Allison Mitchell, the Editor-in-Chief of Modern Luxury Vegas magazine, along with other publications with Modern Luxury Media. As a reminder, if you'd like more information on our upcoming webinars, CEU opportunities, market registration, please head over to our website at lasvegasmarket.com. And you can register for market, see what's up and coming, and find a whole slew of digital resources available to you. This presentation is CEU accredited, and all of that information will be emailed out after the conclusion. And for those who have registered through Zoom, we will have a question and answer available towards the end. So if something comes up that you want to ask a question about, if there's something that you see that intrigues you and you want to know where it may have been purchased from or more about it, please feel free to click the Q&A tab and we'll get to those towards the end. At this time, Allison, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Kimberly. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for having me. As she mentioned, I'm Allison Mitchell, and I'm with Modern Luxury Vegas magazine. So today we have with us three very exciting designers, Alice Roussos of Interior Motives, Thomas Berger of Thomas Berger Design, and Michele Youell of Natural Domain Interiors. So to kick us off, I would love for each of the designers to introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your specific design focus and how you got started. So Alice, why don't you kick us off?
Well, I've lived in Las Vegas a long time. When I graduated from design school, I worked for two very prominent design firms before starting Interior Motives in the 80s. My primary focus is corporate spaces, offices, and high-end residential. I later built a building on Decatur and had a showroom, but now I'm located at the World Market Center at the Las Vegas Design Center.
Great, thank you so much. And Thomas, do you want to go next?
Sure. Thank you, Allison, by the way, and Modern Luxury Vegas magazine for hosting this, as well as the World Market Center. We appreciate it as designers so that we can have roundtable discussions such as this, so thank you. I'm Thomas Berger of Thomas Berger Design. I started my career in my early 20s in New York City. I was working for two very large and famous architectural firms, two of the most famous in the world today. My interest in furniture and design and art came from my parents and my grandparents, who were avid collectors of art and antiques. So in the mid-'80s, I founded my own design company combining both disciplines, architecture and design, with projects around the world, both here in the US and abroad. My specific design focus is on high-end residential, although I built many buildings, over 250 buildings in China and Russia and everywhere else. But I specifically now am focusing on high-end residential, which was the beginning of my career in New York.
Great, thank you so much. And Michele, you can finish us off.
Hi, thank you again for hosting us. My firm is Natural Domain Interiors. I've been in business for 20 plus years, mostly here in Las Vegas and outside of the area too, to some extent. I've had a wide range of experience with high-end residential, but also commercial interiors. And I love the point that I'm at after I paid my dues so many years in this career, where I have great clients who give me great projects. And some of those projects are high-end residential or vacation homes, or they buy businesses and I get to redo them. And with that, it's very interesting all the time. There's a new project coming, whether it's a casino and a luxury outdoor backyard, vacation home I'm redoing right now. It's just fun, all the diversity.
Great, thank you so much. And next, I'd love to hear from each of you on how you personally define West Coast design, both for your clients and for yourself, if there is a difference. So we're welcome to go in the same order just for convenience, if that's okay.
Well, I think that modern clean lines, an open floor plan, lots of windows and sunlight make the West Coast design different. There's usually neutral backgrounds with lots of texture. I call it desert contemporary, but I kind of go for sort of a minimalism with warmth. I like a lot of contrast in the West Coast design to show off all of our stones and metal, glass, leather. I have noticed lately that this West Coast design has sort of a golden age glamour lux to it lately that incorporates warmer metals and really luxurious fabrics, but still in a clean and tailored, very modern way, which is what almost all of my clients are going more modern lately.
I'm seeing that on the editorial side as well. So I'm glad you said that. Thomas, what do you think?
Well, I think West Coast design originally started as sort of overstuffed furniture, less focus on antiques and art, very simple. However, I feel now, as Allison just said, we are seeing a progression towards the finer furniture. I also feel that the main difference seems to be more in the number of layers of design. West Coast, the layers of design seem to be far less than the layers sort of back in New York City, where I'm from originally, and East Coast design. What I mean by that is West Coast design has, the background is more simplified. As Allison said, I agree, we're using more natural stones and woods and lots of glass. Whereas on the East Coast, it's more about the accessories and lots of fill, which I call different layers of design. So I think that's really the main difference that I'm seeing. I personally like bringing a combination of East and West together. And I think that's where Vegas is heading, is to combine the two disciplines.
Absolutely. How about you, Michelle?
Similar to Thomas and Alice, I see for West Coast design a lot of a more relaxed organic silhouette, a lot of blending of indoor and outdoors. I say to my clients sometimes, we don't have to fill up every countertop, every tabletop, every wall. It's the space between the notes that makes the music. So it's less layered, more relaxed, but the elements that are in the space are punchy and meaningful.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And to kick this off as well, we're going to take a moment now to go through a PowerPoint where each designer will share spaces that they've worked on, where they're sourcing their products from in the images we're seeing. So at this time, I'm going to share my screen so we can go through that. Just give me one moment.
Jackson, can you come here for a second?
Okay. Can everyone see this? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to start with some spaces from Alice Roussos and Interior Motives. So Alice, just let me know when you'd like me to go to the next space, but the floor is yours to discuss the spaces we're seeing here, where you're sourcing products from, and how Las Vegas Design Center is playing into your projects.
The sofas and the bar chairs were all purchased through Omnia Leather at Las Vegas Design Center. The antique rug was the client's own, and all the lighting is custom.
And what was your goal with this space for the client?
Well, you can see the outdoor-indoor thing is pretty prominent here because they have a pretty spectacular view. But the architect sourced a beautiful stone for the outside from a quarry in Utah. And you can't see it in this image, but there is a lot of the stone that I also incorporated into the living spaces to help reinforce that inside-outside thing. But the color palette of that stone is kind of my jumping off for selecting the flooring materials, countertop materials, and other, you know, aspects of the palette.
Mhm.
We can go to the next one.
Okay.
This bedding was purchased through Eastern Accents, which is also available at Las Vegas Design Center. The lamps came from Uttermost. The mirrors came from Howard Elliott. And this is just a fun guest room that there was quite a few guest rooms in this particular house, which is at the Ridges. So you can go to the next one.
Okay.
This was a front room that the client didn't know what to do with, and we decided to make it a little retreat for her, just to sit and read. I think some scenarios it could have been a formal living room, but they're not a formal family, so we made this her little getaway space. Because it is accessed off the front door, I had a welder create this screen out of metal to sort of soften the view into the room, and then kind of picked up the details in the molding. The furniture, the upholstery pieces are from Norwalk, and the wall covering is through Area West, and the paintings are all by the client's mother.
Oh, that's special. I love the chandelier too. It's very
That came from
glitzy.
Cyan Design.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay.
Just some more Eastern accents and a fun teenager's room, and a custom art piece.
Okay.
Go to the next one.
Okay.
This is from, again, Norwalk. This is a custom home in the Ridges, and I'm trying to feature as many of the pieces that we can get from all of our great sources at the Las Vegas Design Center.
Fantastic. And any closing remarks before we go to Thomas?
Nope. Take it away,
Okay.
Thomas.
Thank you so much, Alice. All right, so next we have Thomas and Thomas Berger Design.
Okay, well, this was a kitchen that I just finished up in the Summit for a client. As you can see, I used a lot of glass, large glass from Western Glass Company in my windows to bring the light in. However, this was typically a dark corner in the house, so I did two-tone cabinetry to play with the light and have the light come in. Most of this honestly was sourced out of state at the moment. But if you skip to my next one, you'll have some more things that were sourced here at the World Market Center. The bed here is custom. This was an East Coast project, actually. The palm pot in the very back corner was purchased through Nor Trading Company here in the Market Center. Again, my play of light with the Soji doors, which are frosted glass, to bring more lighting into what would be a dead, dark wall. You can go to the next.
Sure.
This photograph, a lot of things came from the World Market Center. The wall covering, which I love. A lot of things came from Area West. The art, all the artwork that you see, all the paintings came from Left Bank. They are great when I want to do custom sizing, which I do constantly because I like the larger scale art. And then some of the metal artwork that you see, the sphere and whatnot, that's from a local artist that we actually featured here at the World Market Center a few months ago, one of my favorite artists, and I had created a featured artist program here. So he was recently presented here at the World Market Center.
Fantastic.
Next.
Okay.
Again, wall covering, local here in the World Market Center. The fabric for the bedspread, which I actually think is beautiful. I actually love it for a guest bedroom from Area West. The artwork on the far right as you enter the room, that is all from Left Bank Art as well. the lamp in the foreground from Global Views.
Great. And this one?
This is a very small powder room. The wall treatment is actually from a local artist who we also featured as one of my guest artists here at the World Market Center a few months ago, Barth White. And it's sprayed on glass, which I think is quite spectacular. The agate came from Walker Zenger, which is represented here at European Bath and Spa, as are all my toilets and bath accessories and all my plumbing. I always go to European Bath and Spa here in the marketplace.
Great. And let me get this little alert off of here for us. Okay. Okay, and this one.
The last photograph, that's a combination of East Coast and West Coast. Obviously, all the art and antiques are more in the style of East Coast originally, but I think it translates beautifully here on the West Coast. The chandeliers from Calco Lighting here. I'm trying to think of what else might be. Some of the fabric was from Area West. I think that's about it for here. Again, large scale windows. This one, again, a few more layers of design, bringing the East Coast over to the West Coast and combining them.
It's beautiful. I love all the colors.
Thank you. Thank you.
And here we go with Michelle's.
So there's a lot of things in this room that I got from the World Market Center. It's an incredible resource. The brass pans and bowls on the wall are Arterior, or not Arteriors, they're Global View Studio A. The bedding's all Eastern accents. A lot of the accessories I got from Global Views. The pendant lights are Arteriors. I used Infinite Trend to help with all the cabinetry in this room, which there is a lot of cabinetry. You can't tell from this view. But there's wall-to-wall cabinetry on the headboard wall and along with the wall opposite the headboard wall. So the lady wanted a lot of storage, which I think we gave to her. Oh, and Philip Jeffries on the grass cloth. So
beautiful.
Next slide.
Okay.
And again, a lot of World Market vendors here. That cactus is 18 karat. Arterior sconces. The Fandelier is from John Richard. The left bank art in the mirror, and Philip Jeffries again on the wall covering. And I only sent over one project. I could have sent over more, but I often use resources right at the Design Center because it's so helpful and so convenient.
Great. Okay, so I'm gonna take the screen sharing off now and we will return to our discussion. One sec. Okay. So, of course, for each of you, there are many inspirations, but can you talk about specifically how the West Coast lifestyle is playing into what products you're choosing and where you're sourcing inspiration from? I know oftentimes on the editorial side, our fashion director will tell me that he pulls from movies, from the runways. He sources inspiration from all over the place. So I would love to hear how you each get inspired on the projects that you're working on the West Coast. And feel free to jump in.
Well, I wanted to show Thomas, I went and got my Barry Ferrick bowl to show
I love it.
I
love it.
I can
I
barely
would show you
pick it up.
mine, but mine weighs 200 pounds.
I was going to say, I can barely pick it up. Well, one of my sources of inspiration, of course, is Modern Luxury Magazine. They always have the greatest photos and interior shots, so I enjoy that. I get the Carrie Wursler newsletter, which I like. It used to be inspiring to travel. Haven't done that lately, but I have a bucket list for that. I like to use blogs. There's one I love called I Swoon. Apartment therapy is good for great ideas for small spaces. I follow a designer named Coco Lapine. The website Cherish, which I use a lot for vintage furniture, has some lookbooks that are really great for inspiring you and stealing ideas. I also look on Zillow sometimes because some of the luxury homes, the photographers that the realtors get are awesome. And there's a lot of interesting photos of houses for sale. So I think that's kind of a fun way to get ideas. And lately, as the tract home builders have gotten more higher end, there's been some pretty impressive model homes out to go look at too. So that's kind of some of the things I do for inspiration.
Great. And I'm also on Zillow almost every day for editorial reasons as well. So it's a great resource.
It's a great place too to capture before pictures that you could use to when your clients buy used houses to show how you transformed it.
Absolutely. And what about you, Thomas and Michelle?
Well, I use Instagram a lot. I get a lot of great resources from Instagram, and especially around the world. I like to look at like civil engineering around the world, things of that nature, and it inspires me. Of course, Modern Luxury magazine. All magazines have something to offer, but I find that Modern has a lot of wonderful pictures that I can look at and be inspired by. I think when I first moved here, as a New York City boy, we don't see broad views of the sky. We look straight up and you can see 7 inches of the sky at one time. So when I moved out here and I got to see vast horizons, that inspired me, which made me want to do all giant glass walls and windows. Looking at the topography, the mountains that we're surrounded by are so beautiful. I like to bring that movement into my design, which is sort of the opposite movement of an ocean. Or in the Midwest, a farm. So I'm teasing with that. I'm inspired by our lighting out here. I've done a very strong focus on the study of lighting and how it affects us physiologically and psychologically, and it indeed does very much so. So if you see sort of one general weave that goes throughout my design is a lot of lighting, how to bounce light off of reflective wall covering, using metals and marbles and stones, as well as just bringing in a lot of light through large glass walls and windows. So I find my inspiration really just by looking outside here in Vegas and looking at the beautiful landscapes here and the sky, and I love it out here. So that's where I find a lot of my inspiration.
Absolutely. And I find too, on the editorial side, when I'm scouting houses for us to feature, we do a lot of on the market features, which is why I'm on Zillow all the time. I'm gravitating towards the homes as well that have the retractable pocket doors and you can see these great horizons. So lighting is really important to me as well, just so the pictures pop on a page.
Exactly. And when I first moved here, my home is the first home that had 12-foot high doors for glass windows. They were not engineered to do that here in the state of Nevada. So now every modern home out here in the Summit, all the ones I'm doing up there in the Ridges, they're all incorporating now the big giant doors, which I'm proud to say I inspired for the market to actually increase the size of those doors once and for all. Now we can go up to 19 feet. That's a lot of glass door. So I'm pushing for 20 and 21 now. So,
a lot of Windex involved there.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Thomas. And Michelle, what about you?
Well, one thing I love about living in Las Vegas is there's beauty here that's accessible, but it's also so central and easy to travel from. Taking car trips when we can't travel, we can get to the shoreline in 4 hours or less. We can go up into the mountains in Utah easily. All of that I find very inspiring. I always go to the Pasadena Showcase House every year and love that for inspiration. I also go to the St. George Parade of Homes because they bring in a lot of talent from all over the country to design those homes. I just went last week and didn't disappoint, and also got to see a client while I was up there. I get a lot of inspiration from colleagues. Facebook groups, there's so many incredible designer-based focused Facebook groups where we share information, we share ideas, we share resources, and that's tremendous. Also love to go on Zillow, and I love to go on Instagram and Facebook and look at images as well. And there's a lot of great blogs, as you guys know, just wonderful blogs by designers where you get ideas. And then lastly, even though we're stuck with virtual conventions and conferences right now, I still get a lot of inspiration from them. Last week was KBIS, and even though they had some technical glitches, there were still a lot of exhibitors that I got visited and saw their virtual showrooms. That was very inspiring. I learned about a lot of new technology, a lot of new appliances that are coming on the market. Got to see a lot of great seminars that I normally wouldn't go to during KBIS because I'm so busy running around trying to see exhibitors, that this time around I could really focus on seeing some seminars virtually and learned a lot in those. So I don't know, it's a gulp from a fire hose, but there's a lot of inspiration around us here in Vegas.
Absolutely. And obviously, Zoom has become our new way of communicating in general. So my next question does touch on the pandemic. The year of pandemic has changed many things, including an ongoing and increased interest in health and wellness. Tell me how you see West Coast design as the perfect complement to health and wellness concepts in the year ahead and beyond. Any of you can jump in.
I'll start. Well, I think that all design, whether it's West Coast or not, should be focused on health and well-being. I believe that light has an enormous amount of play to it. If you, like I said, I did a lot of study with light, specifically in the Scandinavian countries when I lived in Europe, and I noticed with not a lot of light, they have a lot of alcoholism problems. So I think your environment, inside and outside, play a huge part on your health and well-being. I think that, so I'm kind of stuttering. I think that your environment affects how you feel, and how you feel is going to affect your health and well-being. I've noticed it in my design since the 1980s when I started. I mean, I didn't understand what was going on, but I noticed that when I would design places for my clients and cleaned it up and enlarged their rooms, made it brighter and more cheerful, I noticed that their personality changed, which was a blessing for some of them. But I noticed that they started enjoying life. When I would come in the morning, they'd be smiling. They didn't have to have 6 cups of coffees to wake up. So I think health and well-being is extremely vital when you're designing to take into consideration, because I think it changes your life. I really do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a designer.
Absolutely. I'm even seeing now homes being pitched to me where people are asking for hospital grade air filters in their homes. And I think the pandemic has really changed the way that we approach how we live. So
Absolutely.
It's interesting. Mm-hmm. And Allison, Michelle, how do you feel?
Well, I think that what we've been through this last year has kind of encouraged people to make healthier choices. And that can lead to wanting to live in a space that nourishes their body and their mind. Natural light, bring vegetation, good air quality, living nature walls. I mean, I think those things would be more appealing to people that are trying to make sure that what they breathe, we have to wear masks because to protect us from some of the things we breathe, but we want our air to be clean. And I think that as far as the aesthetic part of it, that just adding organic materials and organic pieces like what they have at Phillips Collection, I think that those organic nature pieces work so well already with the contemporary trend we're in of people wanting things that are more modern. They natural fibers and different organic elements just seem like they would go with that desire to just have a more healthy environment.
Absolutely. And Michelle, what do you think?
Connection to nature in all its forms, whether it's visually, whether it's lighting, as Thomas said. I agree with both Alice and Thomas on the points they made. I would also add that sound control in homes has become so important because people are on Zoom calls or the kids are doing homework and somebody else has to clean the house. And so sound control and acoustical elements are really important so that everybody can function in the house in a pleasing way. Also, the other trend I've noticed is people need a lot more storage over the last year because we've all gone out and bought 10 new appliances that we want to play with because we're cooking more healthfully. So I've reorganized kitchens, done new kitchens over, redone bathrooms with more storage, those kind of projects, just to add to what Alice and Thomas said.
Everyone needs a place for their new air fryer this year.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Vitamix and Instapot and everything.
Yes. Switching gears just a little bit, many consumers continue to spend their discretionary income on home now, obviously, instead of travel, which really creates the need for year-round access to products. How do you combine in-person attendance during Las Vegas market with year-round visits to the Las Vegas Design Center to create a successful sourcing strategy? And anyone's free to jump in.
Well,
go ahead, Alice.
For me, I really depend on my incredible reps and showroom managers because they really keep me up on what new services their company has. You know, like Kravet has furniture now, you know, so Area West is going to start showing some of that. They make sure that I know, you know, what's discontinued and that so in between markets going into the showrooms really helps make sure that I'm up on what they know that their vendor is offering that I need to know about. And I think that's really helpful. And I also, when you encounter that client that doesn't visualize well and is hard to buy things from catalogs, it's nice that I have a beautiful place that I can come, and the showroom managers are always so gracious and make a space where I can have a presentation, and that helps too for those times in between market where you don't have access to all the products in person, and that can be a lifesaver for those people. And also they make sure that people feel really safe there because of the, you know, the temperature checks and the, you know, how everybody's protected.
Absolutely. Thomas or Michelle?
Well, my offices are in the World Design Center, so it's very convenient for me. I can navigate every day here. I do look forward to the special events here, the market when it comes, because I get to see so much more. But I think visiting the showrooms on a daily basis, literally, I've created great relationships with the showroom managers, my sales reps. They really take care of me. It makes my life 1,000 times easier. I was very spoiled in New York, being just a block away from the design center and from the architectural building. So I was very spoiled, and I wasn't sure I was going to feel that here when I moved to Vegas. But I will tell you that the showrooms here have made me feel so comfortable in what they have to offer, and how easy it is to work with them and to have it delivered and installed. So it's been actually quite wonderful. I'm very pleased that I moved into the market here. I really am.
That's great. And Michelle, how about you?
Well, I'm about 45 minutes away from the design center, so it's not as convenient to me physically, but I will say that anytime I need anything, it's just a phone call away to one of the showroom managers, and they always help out. They're very quick to respond, very great at helping me see other things that I might not be aware of because I haven't been down to the design center. And I also was really impressed with how World Market ran the show in August when they rescheduled it. I went ahead and attended it, even though, you know, attendance was down. And like Alice, I felt like it was very safely managed. I felt very comfortable there. I was dying to get to a show and see new things. So I went, and it was wonderful. And I'm really glad I went. I still found things, even though not all the exhibitors that are normally there were there.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Well, I'm glad it was a great experience. Now onto your projects. What are some of the requests that have been at the top of your clients' home renovations or upgrade list in 2020 and now into 2021?
I think we're all going to agree with home office spaces. Pretty sure that's the right answer to this question. But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're all going to find that the list is similar regardless of the time period. I mean, everyone wants, when they're renovating and upgrading, it's kitchens, bathrooms, closet spaces. Once the children move out of the house, the empty nesters want to sometimes recreate their entire style, getting maybe a little bit fancier furniture, maybe not as child-proof, things of that nature. I mean, I find that to be rather consistent through time. What do you both feel?
Well, I've been doing a lot of remodels, and people are really going for fabulous bathrooms. I mean, I've seen the most beautiful, fabulous wall tiles, sparkly faucets with crystals on them, backlit onyx, glass slabs for countertops. It's just, you know, the bathrooms are bigger and they're just getting spectacular, and they're light and bright, and that's been really fun. And again, like, you can't get a more spectacular showroom than European Bath. So that helps to sell these really pricey items when they can see it presented and they don't have to visualize how spectacular it's going to look. So that's one thing I've noticed, is all out on the bathrooms.
Everyone's trying to de-stress and wants to be calm now in their homes. How about you, Michelle?
Well, I love the term, and this was from a book years ago, from Faith Popcorn, called cocooning. Like, people, the trend is cocooning. Kitchens, bathrooms, as Thomas said, the closets. Two interesting trends that are kind of new. I've heard this term kicked around called the fifth room. The fifth room is that room that's the catch-all room in the house now. It's where the kids do homework. It's the home office, and it's the home gym. It's also the video studio. It's also the Zoom room. So they're calling it the fifth room. And that's the room that has to have acoustics. That's the room that has to have great lighting. A little bit of everything, because not everybody has the luxury of a lot of square footage in their home. So it's a multi-functioning room. The other thing is this sense of, okay, I have an outdoor space and it's okay, but now I need to take it to a whole other level. So it's outdoor kitchens with every appliance you can imagine. It's gardening beds, it's a greenhouse, it's a huge patio so that they can have their family over, a spa, anything that they can have in their house so they don't have to go out, a gym. Everything is now growing up into a much bigger, better, more luxurious version than its former self. It's not just an exercise bike that's tucked in your bedroom somewhere. It's a dedicated exercise space that's luxurious. So I see those as big trends that are going to continue.
It seems like even when we're allowed to be back out in the city, we've all done so many great things to our homes now. Like you said, we have our home gyms, and I'm seeing too such spectacular backyards on the homes that are being submitted to me. So it's nice that we all have a little piece of that luxury at home now. And then for each of you personally, what are some of the must-have products you're currently working on sourcing for clients? Anyone?
Well, I've been looking just lately for outdoor area rugs that don't look tropical. Luxury, low maintenance fabrics. I think it goes together with people being home more, and it's great because it used to be the old Herculons are scratchy and ugly, but now they have velvets and chenilles and just really luxurious fabrics that are very well protected, so you can use them more places. I've kind of been on the hunt for fabulous bath accessories, which are kind of hard to find, so I'm looking for a good source for that. I have also noticed, sort of referencing the last thing we were talking about, my clients are so much more open-minded to wallpaper. I love wallpaper, and some people that are even, especially the ones that are super modern, it's a hard sell. But when I start showing them these fabulous textures and even murals, it's really, finally they're starting to really let me do that, and they're loving it.
That's great. What about you, Michelle? Why don't you jump in for us?
High-end lighting, really spectacular lighting fixtures, cool hardware, cabinet hardware. And then there's a lot of movement towards home integration and home automation. It's like appliances, window treatments. Everybody that is getting draperies now wants a remote to go with it or be able to control it from their app. So a lot of call for home automation, even kitchen appliances that are connected, having Ring doorbells or some sort of security system that's all on the same app. And then people are also getting tired of all the apps, so they want a system that integrates everything. So there's more and more call for that, and home integrators who can bring that all together and simplify it for homeowners.
That's great. Yes, we all just want to go on our phones now and click a button.
Yeah.
And Thomas, what about you?
Well, to piggytail on that, I actually, back in the early 80s, I did a voice-activated, voice-controlled bathroom at Kips Bay Boy Clubs, which is a designer showcase in New York, and it worked 2 minutes before we opened. It was a very stressful night before. So I actually think I'd like to see us move towards voice activation. I like that. That's a must-have product for me. It's voice activated house. You remember the 2001 Space Odyssey Al? I want Al in my house taking care of everything. And it's not that hard to do. If I could do it back in the 80s, I'm certain that technology has increased since then. Specifically, and this is a shameless request, I'm looking for an indigenous resource for large palm pots.
Yeah.
So if anyone knows that, please send it to me. Most of them come out of Malaysia. And then in general, I'd like to see more high-end, large-scale furniture. Most of my furniture for my clients, I do design all custom, but it would be nice to have some large-scale, beautiful furniture here locally already in the marketplace, so that I don't have to design every piece of furniture every single time. And I believe that's coming to Area West, so I'm very excited to see what lines Area West is going to bring in that's upscale furniture that is scaled for the large homes that we have here in Vegas now.
Absolutely. And my final question before we go to our Q&A, if you had a crystal ball, what would you predict for home design and product in 2021 and beyond? And why is West Coast Style positioned to be an ideal partner to those demands?
Okay.
Want a reverse order?
Yeah, whatever order you want to go in. If Thomas, you're inspired, go for it.
Okay, well, if I had a crystal ball, Allison, one, I'd be on the beach having won the lotto several times over. But that being said, I believe that digital design will expand to the extent that soon we're going to be able to take a few pictures of your room, and within a few seconds, you're going to have 3D models. And this being said, the designers' products and services become increasingly more accessible to a broader audience. But I do believe that in the high-end market, we're going to see that high-end designers are going to be sought after. I don't know if you remember 10 years ago, there was no such thing as a celebrity chef. And I do believe that we're going to see designers follow that path, where the few will be chosen to become celebrity designers, because we are still creating non-digitally. We are creating the experience that you can only create walking into the space and being in the space and getting to know your client personally, which I know Alice and Michelle all, I mean, our relationships with our clients are very important. We become like family. And I think that although the mid to lower range clientele is going to design very easily digitally, I think that the higher echelon of clientele will seek us out for those unique and special effects and designs that only we can offer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Alice, Michelle, what do you think?
Well, that West Coast vibe, I think, is very comfortable for people. And I think this trend towards cocooning and creature comforts and spending more time at home will continue. I also think that I heard this term, weather immigrants, where people are having to leave or want to leave certain parts of the country because they don't want to deal with hurricanes anymore, or fires, or high taxes, or, you know, whatever local challenge there is. And it feels like there's a lot of migration going on in our country right now from the coastal cities and areas that have issues inward towards us, or probably the same trends going on. I know from New York to Florida, that's a big trend right now. So I think we're going to all be busy. I think there's going to be a lot of work for designers to help people resettle and create a sense of home again. And I think West Coast design is so organic and natural for people to feel comfortable in that style of design.
Absolutely. And Alice, how about you?
I think it's also already the West Coast style or look is sort of conducive to some of the things like the global influences that we see. Vintage furniture kind of goes with the repurposing and reusing, and that's very popular. Even like there's sort of an eco chic thing where you're using vegan leathers and you know, fabrics that are natural, and plants that enhance the air quality. So I think all of those things kind of just naturally go with the clean lines and the open big windows that we are already doing. So I think it's a natural there.
And I have a personal question too. Do you feel like each of you are busier now than ever because our homes have really become the place we're retreating to? Because everyone obviously has different levels of comfort right now as to how much they're going out. But do you feel like your book of clients is expanding more than ever because of that?
It's not necessarily that the book of clients has expanded for me. It's just that all my clients are doing something.
Mm.
So I've been doing it so long, and I've got a client that I did her house at TBC 25 years ago. You know,
wow.
So you know, I think that the staying home so much inspired everybody. Plus, their homes are worth a lot right now, so that makes you feel like you can spend on your house. And so, you know, we had that little 3-month time when nobody left the house, and there was nothing going on then. And then all of a sudden, I've been swamped since then, and it's all clients I already know that are just eager to do something.
Right.
And they're pretty big remodels too. It's not like we're just doing, you know, little remodeling. So it's good.
Right. They're staring at the bathroom and going, okay, let's overhaul it now.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. A lot of existing clients redoing places, moving to new places, or in my case, also I've had a few that have bought new businesses. And while we were shut down, they wanted to start overhauling it. So definitely, but also there's new people calling, you know, I need this, I need that. So yeah, I think we're all going to be very busy for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, Thomas?
I agree with both of you, Alice and Michelle. All my former clients for the last almost 40 years, all are ready to redesign everything. They want new looks. because they had been sitting at home too long.
Mhm.
We are getting, as you said, Michelle, we are getting a lot of calls, 3 or 4 every day for new clients. And I try to balance that. I've never been this busy. When the building here closed, I was in my office every single day. My staff worked remotely, and we had drawings that we had to get out for new homes up at the summit. I mean, we couldn't rest. So I like that. I'm not, I think it's a great and wonderful thing.
Absolutely. And then another question that I'll ask for each of you, what do you think is the hottest market to buy in right now in Vegas? Like, which neighborhood are you seeing people ready to flock to?
The summit.
Mhm.
If you've been up there, I mean, I do a lot of work in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and have for years. But the summit actually is one of the most beautiful developments I've seen here in Vegas. And I'm very honored that I'm doing a lot of projects up there. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah.
Well, I live in Summerlin, so I'm partial, but I have clients, you know, that live in McDonald Highlands, and I admit it's very beautiful out there, and the views are awesome. But I still, you know, Summit Ridges, you know, this is you know, where I think the best things are happening.
Mm-hmm. And how about you, Michelle?
I'm on the other side of town, and you know, like in the Anthem Country Club area and Green Valley area and Henderson area, and all those homes are dated now and they're needing a refresh and remodeling. So I can't answer what the hottest market is. I can just say I'm super busy and it's going well. Happy about that problem.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And Kimberly, do you want to take us to the Q&A, or how should we go about that?
Well, at this time, we don't have any questions that have come in from those viewing. I think everyone answered what was at the top of their mind. And, you know, from the Las Vegas Design Center and Las Vegas Market, we really thank you for, you know, letting us see your work and give us insight into the products that you've, you know, procured from our establishments. Allison, thank you again for just moderating this discussion. And for those who are watching, thank you for joining us. CEU information will be sent out tomorrow, and we hope that you stay healthy and happy and come and visit us on site. We are having in-person markets starting again in April. That's our newest one. Dates have been moved around to better suit what's going on. And so we're looking forward to seeing everyone back on site again.
I'm excited about the April market. I think, you know, it's either hot or cold, so this will be great.
Yeah, the weather will be great.
Absolutely. It'll be gorgeous weather. Yeah. Well, thank you again, and have a wonderful afternoon.
Bye,
Thanks,
everyone.
Allison.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.